2020, the middle of 2020 during the COVID, because I was in high school and I just finished my high school in 2020, the beginning of 2020, and after a few months, COVID was, I think, become a pandemic around the world, and I wanted to do something to contribute to the society after experiencing the first-hand impacts of oppression and occupation and other forms of torture with its mental in Balochistan. I was living in a village, which is a very small village in Kej district in Balochistan. Kej is basically a district in Balochistan, and then in I think when I was like 8, 9 years old, I moved to the city to study because we weren't having basic education in the village. We used to have a school, but there's rarely a teacher teaching in villages. There's like rarely, students rarely go to school because of lack of facilities and stuff. But I still feel like I'm extremely privileged being here and getting the opportunity to study and to learn more about Balochistan. First of all, I think I wanted to mention, also Maria mentioned about it, that it's extremely hard to do activism on the ground in Balochistan. And we have so many people who have been forcibly abducted by the Pakistani authorities, especially militaries and intelligence agencies. And according to Voice for Baloch Missing Person, which is an organization who works basically on forcibly disappeared people and missing people, according to them, more than 49,000 people have been missing for the last 2 decades in Balochistan. And it's not even the confirmed number of missing people. It could be more than that. It could be, I don't think it would be less than that. I think probably be more than that, because there are like thousands of missing cases who haven't been even reported on the ground. Which is a huge human rights violation when it comes to international law, when we talk about human rights, and I think it's extremely something that we need to keep in mind. Mostly people who have been affected by the military were found bullet-riddled bodies. The bodies were found bullet-riddled in different locations in different parts of Pakistan. I think growing up after hearing those stories, after seeing people being abducted, after experiencing oppression in different forms, such as I was displaced from my village, my family was displaced from our villages because of military occupation in our villages, and so many villages were displaced, so many communities, indigenous communities were displaced from their ancestral homes because of oppression. And after learning about those issues, and I started trying to connect dots between different issues in the society, such as I mentioned before, the climate part of it. And when we talk about human rights, and I think one of the things that we mostly forget is that there are different issues in the society that we need to connect and we need to speak about them is one single issue, and we need to find the root causes of those issues. And also at the same time, I think Balochistan is also one of the most affected regions when it comes to the climate crisis, which is also ultimately causing human rights violations because people are being displaced because of the floods, because of the heat waves, and not getting clean drinking water. Also, I think at the same time, I started connecting the dot between human rights violations and the climate crisis, and I wanted to find a way to support communities to talk more about those things together and try to have like a more intersectional approach when it comes to these issues, but also like finding different platforms and different people around the world to work together with. And that's how I joined a global movement, and I formed a local group which is called Friday Food with Balochistan. We were like, at the beginning we were like 20 people, but then we became less, like 10 people, and then 5 people, and then like people were leaving because of threats from the government and the military. But we kept continuing our works, and we tried to highlight different issues about person and international platforms, such as I came here from COP26. COP26 is basically Conference of Parties, which is an yearly UN event about climate issues. But at the same time, we wanted to have a kind of like representatives from different parts of the world, especially oppressed group, to have a voice in the table in these conferences, because they were like immense importance in terms of like decision making, policy making, but also like it's extremely important to have young people on the table in these conferences to get involved in decision making and policy making and trying to change the world policies about human rights and climates and other intersectional issues in our societies. And I've been involved in these works for like past 3 years, and I think in past 3 years I have learned that the most important thing is that working together with different groups and trying to identify the root cause of these occupations and operations and the climate crisis and human rights violations and finding a solution for these issues to uproot it from the beginning, from the roots, and try to solve it from within the roots. For example, when it comes to Balochistan, and like when we talk about like missing people and forced disappearances, we need to recognize that because of the occupation, because of the operations, these enforced disappearances are taking place. People are being displaced because of the long-lasting occupation of the Pakistan government in Balochistan, which has been huge issue within Balochistan. So I think we cannot talk about a single issue without mentioning every communities working office in the world and without connecting dots between different issues in our society. So yes, I think this is a brief introduction of what I do and the importance of like having an intersectional approach when it comes to human rights violation and climate crisis.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Yusuf. Very important to know what you said.